That's a lot, nice little beat right there. That's something that you gotta be jamming to. I ain't really dancing. I'm just rocking my shoulders. All right, y'all. So y'all see the title. It's called Satire, Charleston White, and Jedi Tree. So let's go ahead and get into it. Greetings, peace and power, elevation be to all you beautiful people out there. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. And so tonight, I want to talk about the Charleston White interview with Cam Newton and Satire and Jedi Tree. Be sure and like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share the channel. So now, you might wonder, well, what is satire? Some of you guys may not ever heard of this terminology before. Okay? And then Jedi Tree. So I'm going to talk about this because it ties into Charleston White. We got to talk about not only his interview, but his persona and his mannerism and how he go about approaching things, right? Because people don't understand his approach and why he do it. All right. And he has mentioned it before about satire. So let's look into it. What is satire? All right, so the term satire means is a genre of the visual, literary, and performing arts, usually in the form of fiction and less frequently non-fiction, in which vices, follies, abuses, and shortcomings are held up to ridicule, often the intent of exposing or shaming the perceived flaws of individuals, corporation, government, or society itself into improvement. Although satire is usually meant to be humorous, its greater purpose is to constructive its greater purpose is often constructive social criticism, using wit to draw attention to both particular and wider issues in society. A feature of satire is strong irony or sarcasm. In satire, irony is militant. According to literary critic Northrop Fry, but parody, uh, burlesque, if that's how you say it, burlesque, exaggeration, juxtaposition, comparison, analogy, etc., right, are all frequently used in satirical speech and writing. This militant irony or sarcasm often professes to approve of or at least accept as natural the very things the satirist which wishes to question. So satire is found in many artistic forms of expression, including the internet, memes, literature, plays, commentary, music, film, and television shows, and media such as lyrics. All right, so that is what satire is. Okay, so now it goes into talk about the social and psychological function. So satire and irony in some cases have been regarded as the most effective source to understand a society, the oldest form of social study. They provide the keenest insight into a group of collective psyche, reveal its deepest value and tastes, and the society's structure of power. Right? Some authors have regarded satire as superior to non-comic and non-artistic discipline like history or anthropology. In a prominent example from ancient Greek, philosopher Plato, when asked by a friend for a book to understand Athenian society, referred him to plays of Astrophenians, right? Or yeah, was it Aristophanes? Aristophanes. All right. So historically, satire has satisfied the popular need to debunk and ridicule the leading figures in politics, economy, religion, and other prominent realms of power. So satire confronts public discourse and the collective imagery, playing as a public opinion counterweight to power. be it political, economic, religious, symbolic, or otherwise, by challenging leaders and authorities. For instance, it forces administration to clarify, amend, or establish their policies. Satire's job is to expose problems and contradiction and is not obligated to solve them. Carl Carris said in the history of satire a prominent example of a satirist's role as confronting public discourse. All right, so now to sum it all up, I know that was a lot. A satire is basically a form of trolling. Okay, so today we call it trolling. You know, people like to get on the internet, troll on the comments, right? That is what satire really is, trolling. So Charleston White used this methodology to approach his opponents, right? Or people that he's being interviewed by. Okay? Especially those who are famous. So he used this approach because he brings out the humor. It made people laugh. And then it also made people confused because they don't know where he's standing, where he's going. Until he starts revealing exactly what his whole intention, his whole purpose, and what he's trying to get at. Right? That's why I say that he is one of the best to know how to use satire. Like, he is one of the best people. He is very professional at it. He can get away with it. Because he had me fooled for a minute, for a while. When I was watching his videos, I didn't get it. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? This guy sound crazy as hell. What the hell wrong with this dude? When he say certain stuff, I'm like, what the hell wrong with this dude? Then I realized, I said, okay, let me pay closely attention. What is he really doing? And I said, oh, all right, it's a psychological manipulation going on. So he using some form of psychological control. All right. So what his whole purpose is to expose the contradiction, the hypocrisy, especially that goes on within the Black community, by playing on as a character and saying all these things that the rappers will say, or he hears the kids in the neighborhood say, or also, you know, the people that he grew up around. So he will play on that character and play on words to throw people off. All right. And see, with satire, you use what's called the Jedi mind trick. Now, for those of you that are a fan of Star Wars, right? If you're a fan of Star Wars, you would know about Jedi mind trick. But for those of you that don't know anything about it, I'm going to go ahead and share the information with you. All right, here it is. Jedi mind trick. Watch this. So the Jedi mind trick, how to influence others without them knowing it. So it goes on to say, in the Star Wars universe, Jedi can use the Force to influence the weak-minded to comply with their will. The Jedi have a lot of cool Force powers, but this one tops the list as the coolest and most useful. It even has a name, the Jedi Mind Tree. So the most well-known use of this power is in the Star Wars A New Hope, when Obi-Wan Kenobi used the Jedi mind trick on some Imperial troopers at a checkpoint. If it's been a while, check out the scene here. So that's the video at the bottom, if you guys want to check it out. All right. Now it says, while Star Wars have broad pop culture appeal, the original fan base is made up of science fiction nerds. Nerds do not possess the power of persuasion. They don't have the charisma or the charm. They tend to be poor communicators in general. The Jedi mind trick is pretty much the ultimate superpower for the average nerd. Without it, nerds are unheard and marginalized to the edges of society. Right? So, here it is. It goes on to say he can go about his business. If you can suppress either of these automated responses, the game is half won. The next step is intense listening with empathy. See yourself in the other party's shoe. Express needs are subtle, so you need to pay attention. This is the work of the neocortex, but it cannot work if the limbic system is on. That's why it's so critical that you suppress the limbic system that only knows how to express aggression and fear. Once you understand, then unleash your creativity. Think about possibilities and interests, not position. Find a way that meets everyone's goal in the meeting. This isn't about compromise, which leaves everyone a little disappointed. This is a third alternative that equally excites everyone. This can only happen after intense listening and maximum creativity. So, Charleston White was able to garnish people's attention on the internet by using satire and bringing in the Jedi mind tree. Okay, so he was able to bring in that force that pretty much captured those who are weak-minded or those who are ignorant. I'm gonna use the term ignorant. So those who are ignorant, he was able to capture their mind and get them to really think. So at first he throws people off, but after a while, when he keeps going and he keeps making his statement, his argument, and state his point of view, then people start to catch on. They say, oh, damn, now I get what he's saying. Now I listen. And they continue to listen to him closely to see what more he has to say. He mentioned this before, right? When him and Priscilla had they little had they little debate, okay? He mentioned that he used satire. And he says the reason why he has to do that because that's the way he can garnish people's attention. That's how he can get people to listen to him. Because if he spoke in a very formal and very calm and using technical vocabulary words, nobody would want to hear what he has to say. If he came off in a very preachy manner, who wants to hear that? He said he works with young people. He works with the youth in Dallas, Texas. So he know the young people, the type of kids that he worked with, they listen to rap music for the most part. And they listen to music that deal with a lot of profanity. So he said, well, how do I go about approaching things to them? How do I gain their attention? I can't speak to them in a very adult manner, right? I have to speak the language to where they understand. So he speak the language by using profanity, excessive profanity. And they listen, they get his message. At first, him and Kevin Gates had their little back and forth. But when Kevin Gates met him in person, it was all love. Then it was another rapper. I think his name is Big Ass Plug or something like that. He from Dallas. He had his little back and forth with him, but when they met in person, it was all love. Because I think I think he's a comedian. I think he's a comedian, but again, he just a YouTube personality. He was a nobody. He was a nobody that people didn't really know anything about. And he's known for criticizing rappers in the black community, giving harsh criticism. He's more interesting to listen to than any other YouTube content creator. All right. So there's a little backstory about Charleston White also. He come from the streets. Not only he come from the streets, but he also was a former gang member. He was a former Crip. As a matter of fact, I seen a documentary that was about the Bloods and Crip in Texas. Okay, in Fourth Ward, Dallas, Texas area. I don't remember the name of it, but he was in that documentary. At that time, he had dreadlocks. He was in that documentary, and he was talking about his life growing up in Dallas and how he got involved in the gang. So Charleston has this knowledge about the streets. So he knows what it's like to deal with actual gang culture. He knows what it's like to deal with getting into street fights and shootouts and all of that. You know what I'm saying? He knows what it's like to be locked up because he has been locked up before. All right. But he said at the same time when he got out of jail, he started to study spirituality, got involved in Christianity, and I think at one point he said he was involved in the Nation of Islam or something, and I guess it didn't work out for him. But he knows that other side. So when he listens to the rappers, or he see how these rappers get on there talking tough and about what they gonna do, this, thing, other, and the reality is these rappers don't want to actually face the people that actually live in this shit they talking about. I mean, because you can find videos where people get caught slipping. You know what I'm saying? Getting their shit taken. Getting G-checked. You will find it all over YouTube. Like, these are actual folks who come from the streets or in that street life. They're G-checking these rappers for what they goddamn saying. You hear a story about rappers losing their damn lives over some bullshit, over some shit they done said in their song. Then you got rappers who was out there living that lifestyle who was actual criminals. You know what I mean? So he tried to expose it. So he's like, you know what? We gotta look at the bigger picture. We gotta get the black community to really see what is going on and why there is the problem with the black community in itself. That's what he tries to do. He tries to bring a way to expose people, to get people really thinking. You know what I'm saying? So he used a little comedy. You know what I'm saying? He can be very animated because he's trying to draw the attention of the audience so they can really listen to what he has to say. So once all of that calm and settled, then he goes on to actually explain it into details of what he was doing and what the whole purpose was. Let's talk about the interview with Cam Newton. I would say this. I think Cam was not prepared to have Charleston White on his platform. I think he wasn't prepared. I don't think he actually done the homework assignment. Because if you saw the interview, what was Charleston White doing? Being himself, being Charleston White, being the satire that he is, being very comical, right? Being animated, and being very blunt, transparent. He holds no filter. He doesn't sugarcoat what he say. And Cam was just sitting there like, well, damn, bro, you done took over my damn show. Like, you really gonna get me fucked up. He was saying, I hope I don't get shadow banned because you sitting up here saying all this crazy stuff. Because he was name dropping. He was talking about people's personal situation. He was talking about King Von and Jada Pickett and all these different people, Deion Sanders and the HBCUs. And Cam went on to defend Deion Sanders, right? And then Charleston said some things about slapping bitches and stuff like that, and that rubbed Cam the wrong way because he like, hold on, what you talking about, bruh? You know, so you can see it on his face that he was getting pissed off with Charleston. He was getting really pissed off. He wanted to end the interview. He wanted to get him off the damn stage, but he didn't know how to do it. So he just let this man have it. And the man kept on going. And he did that because he wanted to see how far he can push him. You know what I'm saying? And he told him, he said, listen, man, you caught up on my words. You didn't even look at my action. You caught up on what I said and not my action. He said, you not gonna find no paperwork on me being a snitch. Where's the paperwork at? You caught up on my words and not my action. You paying attention to what I'm saying, right? So basically what Charleston is saying, I can say anything. I can put anything out there. I can make up stuff and make y'all believe that this is the things that I did without showing no proof or evidence. And that's what happened at times as people. We go off of things that people say and how they go about saying it without giving second thoughts, without actually doing the homework assignment to find out if it's really true or not. We get caught up on the rhetoric. This person said this, oh man, but we don't do the homework. Now let's go back to what the interview that he did with Princella, right? If y'all watched it, the whole time he was trolling her. He was trolling the shit out of her. Now, there was things that he agreed with her, but then, like towards the middle of the interview, he started trolling her. And she didn't know what was going on. She thought he was just being a maniac or something. She thought he just acting out like he crazy. But she didn't get what he was doing. He was trolling. He was trolling her. And see, that's one of the things that you can do if you want to. This is dealing with psychology, by the way. Now, this might be a form of dark psychology, but it's not really dark psychology. It's basically cognitive psychology because you're using cognitive skills. This is where you have to study. This is where you have to study cognitive science. So once you start studying cognitive science, right, and learn about cognitive skills, then you'll understand cognitive psychology. Or as a guy that I was once cool with, he used to tell me NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So neuro-linguistic programming, right, is dealing with what? A form of psychology. And in order to learn about neuro-linguistic programming, you use cognitive skills. You got to have cognition. You got to study people. You got to study people's behavior, right? And once you study individuals, then you know how to go about approaching them. Or you just test them out to see how they're going to respond. If they're going to respond in fear, they're going to respond with anger, or if they're going to respond in a very calm manner. So he do that because he want to get a reaction. He getting a reaction out of people because he's basically exposed them for who they really are. He exposed them for who they really are. And it was a lot of things that was said in the interview with Cam Newton. It was a whole lot. But again, Cam didn't get it. He didn't understand what the hell is this man doing. He's all over the goddamn place. He's saying all kind of random stuff. It's an expose. He don't realize that he was exposing celebrities for their contradiction, their hypocrisy. That's what he's doing. He said, you way up there at the top. I'm at the bottom. You at the top, man. I'm at the bottom. And Cam said, no, you're a celebrity because he's famous, right? He's getting paid. But he said, I get paid $10,000 per interview. I'm a nobody. I'm at the bottom. You at the top. So in other words, he's saying, how's that somebody that is at the very bottom have that type of influence over you? How do you let me, somebody that's at the bottom, have that type of influence and control over you? Because he get away with a lot of stuff. He done got away with saying a whole lot of shit. And he still gets back on the internet. No matter how many times he get blocked, he still gets back on the internet and say some more shit. He gets away. And there's been people who've been threatening him, talking about they was gonna beat him up, they was gonna see him in the streets and this, that, and other. But he's still around. He goes into their area. He confronts the individuals, and nothing really happens. Nothing really happens. He pepper sprays. He'll call the police and he'll tell you, yeah, I'm gonna call the cops on y'all asses. Yeah, I'm a snitch. I'm a snitch on them drug dealers over there. Now, for those of us that come from the hood, we know not to snitch. We know how that snitching thing goes. But he doing it to what? Troll people. And he let it be known that he ain't scared. He like, look, man, I'm from the streets. Like, bro, I've been there, okay? I grew up in that gang life. Like, bro, you can't run that on me. I'm not scared. I'm not scared to take no ass whooping. I'm not scared to go to prison. I'm not scared to lose my life. He said to himself, he's not scared to kill if he has to. He's not scared to lose his life. He's not scared to go to jail. He'll do it. Okay? Now, you got somebody that's bold enough to tell you they gonna goddamn snitch on you. And they also carry them tools. They carry tools on deck. But then at the same time, he tell you, I'm gonna snitch on your ass, boy. And if you come run up on me, I'm gonna goddamn take your ass up out of here. I'm gonna send you to your maker. That man is bold. So that's a form of Jedi mind trick right there. Because you preying on the minds of those individuals who you perceive to be weaker than you. And they know not to try you. So he brings some form of intimidation to them. So I would say that I don't like how he doing it. I don't think it's cool how you going about doing that, because you can set yourself up in a very dangerous situation. But at the same time, he's a professional at it. He honed his craft. He honed his craft. He's a professional. I mean, can't nobody really do it like him. I ain't seen nobody ever do it like him. Well, maybe Azalea Banks. Now, Azalea Banks is something else too. You know what I'm saying? She another one. I would say she used a form of satire, but she very transparent. She too transparent. If you go back and watch her interviews, the girl is very She don't hold nothing back. She tells you how she feels. She use all kind of words in the book, words that's even banned, that would get you shadow banned, but she will use it. She doesn't care. She doesn't care at all. She bounced back every single time. So Charleston White let it be known that he's not a person that's afraid of expressing himself and how he really feel about the things that's happening in society, especially what's happening within our community. He's not afraid. He doesn't hold back anything. He doesn't bite his tongue. So I give him respect for that. He's going to stand on his position. He's not going to change his position. And he's not going to change the way he go about bringing his argument, expressing himself. He's not going to change that. So anyhow, I appreciate you all for watching, and thank you for supporting my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit my note. Yeah, hit the notification bell. So I don't know if I'm shadow banned. I probably am. I don't know how YouTube really do about shadow banning. So there's some people that say they could not get my notification for whatever reason. But make sure you guys share my channel, watch my videos, comment, like. Until next time, you take it easy. Peace and power and elevation. And also, I want to give a special thanks to the brother Ron from New York Talk Perspective. Please forgive me if I get it wrong. New York Talk. I know that's what the podcast is called. I want to give brother Ron thanks for giving me the opportunity to be on his platform and have a great dialogue with him. We had a conversation about gender wars and talk a little bit about science, relationship, and all. So it was pretty solid. It was pretty decent. Very mature conversation. I appreciate it. So you guys check out his channel. It's called New York Talk Perspective. That's what it's called, New York Talk Perspective. All right. But until then, y'all be safe. Peace and power and elevation. Until next time, this your girl Tiffany, and I'm out. All righty.